The story starts with a weak, pathetic boy called Cry, who has overpowered friends who can become the most powerful hunters in the world. Yet being their friend, everyone assumes that Cry is also strong, if not stronger than them. However, through a couple of coincidences, Cry finds himself leading the most powerful hunters with hundreds of members. A group of 6 kids living inside a small village idolize the lives of hunters, men who explore ancient ruins in search of treasure and glory. And so, they promise to visit the imperial capital Zerbudia to become the most powerful hunters in the world, attaining all the riches the world could offer. Several years later, Cry, one of the 6 children, walks through the streets of the imperial capital like he's wanted for panty theft. Despite keeping a low profile, he knows that treasure hunters are the stars of this city. They travel around the world to explore ruins and raid treasure vaults to find ancient relics with mysterious powers. Although being a hunter isn't easy, since it is a job which requires them to risk their life and fight with monsters called phantoms. However, the ones who succeed in raiding these ruins attain glory and riches that peasants working in a 9-to-5 can't imagine. He also seems to be one of those people trying to make it big in the capital, as his single brain cell is so full of these thoughts that Cry subconsciously walks towards the First Steps headquarters, the most powerful clan in the imperial city, and every once in a while they recruit talented hunters to their ranks. Therefore, all newbies have gathered there, including Ruda, a level 3 hunter who wants to preach equality in front of a 6-foot-tall ugly beast. At this point, Cry realizes there would be blood in the streets, but one of the clan members arrives on the scene to break their fight. He also warns them that further fighting would ruin their chances of being recruited, which makes everyone act more like humans. Unfortunately, even Cry is forced to stay on cue with Ruda and enter the pub despite not wanting to join the clan, only to find newbies lurking around every party's table. To help ease Ruda's anxiety, he reveals that it's his 5th time at the clan. However, he's never seen this many people hunting here before. Yet, for some reason, Ruda finds it strange that most of the hunters are gathered around the Archbrave, but Cry clarifies that they are the strongest party in this clan who managed to clear level 7 treasure vaults within 6 months. The surprising part is that their party only has 6 members. Their leader is the fake pretty boy Rodden, a level 7 hunter despite their similar age. Honestly, a hunter recruited by Archbrave is almost guaranteed a successful career. However, he heard that they never recruit members through these events. Overall, the entire pub is filled with solo hunters trying to get recruited and parties looking to expand their members. Yet, Ruda notices that one desk in the back is empty, making her curious why. At that point, Greg, the 6-foot-tall giant from before, approaches them after hearing that Ruda is unaware of the legendary Grievers. He reveals that the desk belongs to the party who founded this clan called the Grievers. They were a group of anonymous young hunters who came to capital and quickly rose to fame with their talent and strength. Yet, only Cry knows that this party was created by his childhood friends who came to the capital a few years ago, and their real name is the Grieving Souls. In fact, everyone heard a rumor that this legendary party was going to recruit new members after years. Thus, many talented solo hunters came for the interview, but now that they think about it, the rumor might have been a ruse to attract more recruits. However, before Greg or the others can confirm their suspicion, a young level 4 hunter barges into the pub, confident that he can win and join the Grievers. He brags about reaching level 4 at his age, which is not appreciated by the other talented hunters, especially Tino, a veteran member of the First Steps clan who finds it necessary to teach him a lesson. Before they start fighting, Cry takes Ruda and leaves, knowing this fight will destroy most of the pub. Unexpectedly, Tino senses a strange presence near the exit gate. Therefore, she ignores Gilbert like a terms and conditions policy to check Cry's true identity. Shortly after, Tino, a confident girl capable of killing low-level hunters with one strike, starts acting shy, as she reveals that Cry is the master of their clan, shocking everyone. Naturally, at this point, Cry takes things from the beginning when he and his friends first arrived at the capital several years ago. They immediately started clearing the treasure vaults meant for beginners at record speed. Inside one of these dungeons, Cry was going to be eaten by a phantom. However, his overpowered friend suggested he stay still, while he defeated it with one strike. Instead of suspecting Cry's powerlessness, his friends thought he was acting as bait for the monster. They considered him a talented hunter, but compared to the other 5 geniuses, Cry was nothing but exceedingly ordinary, and sooner or later, this powerlessness might hold them back. Yet his friends were never going to ask him to leave. So, in the end, Cry decided that resigning from the party was the safest option. He gathered the entire grieving Sola and talked about leaving the party. But suddenly, one of the members mentioned that their party lacked a proper leader. Within a few minutes, they anonymously decide that Cry will make the perfect leader for their group, as he was assumed to be the strongest member. Meanwhile, back in the present, all the newbies inside the pub are still in shock after learning that Cry is the master of the First Step clan. On top of that, Ruda and Greg can't believe they were talking to the legendary hunter who is considered to be the strongest in the capital. Aside from that, Ark finds it funny that Cry lied about oversleeping just to experience things from the common folks' perspective. Yet, Tino, who is always ready to sell her body to Cry, interrupts the fake pretty boy, claiming his intentions towards their master are questionable. Despite their bickering and dogfighting, Cry insists that he overslept. But Ark still thinks he was observing the crowd in a disguise. However, this isn't only his problem, as Cry reveals that every hunter hates listening to other people, even if they are telling the truth. This explains how he has been getting away with being weaker than anyone else. Jokes aside, Ark wants to take advantage of Cry being at the recruiting event and ask for his recommendation. Though Cry wonders if he will truly accept his recommendation without a doubt, his doubts are cleared instantly because Ark can trust Cry with his life, let alone a single recommendation. Still, one of Ark's brave members objects to his directions. However, Eric shuts her down. Unbeknownst to everyone, Cry already knew that Ark would trust him with the recommendation. Still, he can't just pick Tino because of her cute looks and thighs. However, their conversation is disturbed when Gilbert acts out of order, which forces the other hunters to pin him down. Ultimately, Cry puts on his poker face, calling Gilbert of the Purgatorial Sword to come forward. Up first, he clarifies that reaching level 4 is not impressive at his age, but his potential could be immense only if Ark and his party train them. Yet to keep this fair, he gives him a test, asking about the true meaning of becoming a hunter. Some think it's collecting treasures or gaining fame, but Cry reveals that it's the ability to not lose, and he will test their abilities on the spot by playing a small game. To make things more interesting, he removes one relic from his finger and claims whoever can grab it before the ring touches the ground will win the recommendation. Once it's all said and done, Cry throws the coin at them, which causes a war to break out immediately. Surprisingly, Gilbert is the closest to the ring. However, Tino steps on his shoulder to use as support and tosses the ring into the air. Furthermore, she kicks him on the side wall to remove the competition. However, the other competitors still want to compete for the ring, despite witnessing a man being knocked out, which gives Cry a perfect chance to put on his disguise and leave the area. Unfortunately, the vice-captain of the First Step, Eva, is also practically the chairman because Cry is never around for the good stuff. Nevertheless, she reveals that the master of the exploration organization wants to see him after that stunt he pulled over at the pub. Thanks to that, the pub and its owner are quite famous. Initially, Cry tries to pin the blame on Ark and make him attend the meeting. However, Eva reveals that the king has other plans. He will come to the First Step headquarters if he doesn't show up on time, which forces him to get out of his office. Unfortunately, Cry lost his face reversible relic, an item that can be used to magically change his experience and safeguard him for surprise attacks. After going to the meeting, Cry disregards all of his egoistic character traits and starts begging for forgiveness. He made sure that no civilians would get hurt in this little exercise aside from the pub. Plus, they are ready to make full payment to rebuild the pub as it was before. Eventually, the leader of the explorer Gark gets tired of his excuses, and even his secretary feels bad for bullying Cry. Since there were no injuries or complaints this time around, Gark forgives him. However, before he's fully off the hook, first steps must do a chore jobs for them in the ruins. These jobs pay much less and are more complex than the normal ones, but Cry tries to act smart and chooses the easiest of the bunch, thinking he broke the system. Once he leaves the office, Greek compliments his energy levels and excitement towards the job. He thinks that not once in his life Cry has ever changed, as he picked the most difficult-looking quest in the book. Once his trip to the explorer's office comes to an end, Cry discovers that Ark was summoned by some nobles to another country and will be out for a while. However, instead of taking her own date, he assigns her the pro bono that must be completed within a few days, which instantly ruins her mood. Before he knows it, Tino runs out of the room like nobody's business, forcing him to use relics like the binding chains to tie her up to a chair in a very cultural position. Still, Tino, being a level 4 adventurer, claims that clearing the dungeon by herself would be impossible, thus comes to her aid Gilbert and Ruda, who are willing to complete the pro bono. Watch this next video on screen and subscribe to not miss next part.